I definitely need to work on pressing advantages harder in lane and like actually winning lane. Um, I tend to play more traditional AD carries, so auto attackers rather than like I can't stand Misfortune.
Oh God,
She's
me too, dude. Me too.
she's super strong right now, and you see I've got like 3 games on there. I just can't bring myself to play her. I have Mastery 7 on like every other AD carry, just not Misfortune.
Dude, me too, dude. I agree. I'm just like, give me something that hits something, not this
Right?
like misfortune, Varus, whatever.
Click, click R mid game. Your job is done.
Wow. You actually played against Axavi, who's also a sub.
Yeah,
That's really funny, actually. Interesting, interesting.
yeah. That game was not a fun game if I remember correctly. What happened there? Oh, was that the Tom Kench game?
It's probably a
Yeah.
lane where it was tragic.
Yeah, Tom Kench, like level 1, just kind of walked into them and tried to all in,
Oh boy.
and then I fell behind like 40 CS early in lane because I had no pressure in that lane and we were behind, and then it was just a sad day. I think we got 4-man bot, lost the tower. It was a sad time.
Unfortunate. Well, I guess part of what we'll be looking at today is, how can we win lane, right? I guess. How do we push our advantages? So
Yeah, I think
is
my
this-
biggest issues are like pushing advantages and winning lane, and then I guess playing from behind. Like if I screw up and end up falling behind, like how do I get back in it? Because I find it's hard. Oh, and especially playing, because I often feel like I have kind of no agency in the lane. Like if my support doesn't set something up for me to follow up on, I just kind of have nothing to
Interesting,
do.
interesting. Okay, okay. Those are good things we can look at. look at. So, when you see this kind of lane, so obviously the first part of laning is, what's the matchup, right?
Yep.
So when you see this lane, ignore the junglers for a second,
Yep.
like the solo laners, whatever. How do you? Okay, what are your strengths and what are their strengths?
Their
And then how
strengths
do you
are
win?
to poke us out, and siege the tower, and avoid Xayah engage from snare, and we win by scaling because I outscale Caitlyn.
At what point do you outscale Caitlyn? If we were to say Xayah outscales
3
Caitlyn?
items probably when I get my Infinity Edge.
All right, so near the mid game, Xayah is definitely stronger, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about 6 items? Who wins?
Xayah should.
Really? How so?
Well, I guess it kind of depends. 1v1 or in team fights, because Xayah is going to put out more damage, and her ult gives her a measure of safety against divers like Camille, but Caitlyn has the range advantage on her.
Right. So I guess in terms of fights, you do have self peel, right?
Mhm.
That's very strong. But I think when we talk about scaling, it's like I think it is true that it's less obvious between Xayah and Caitlyn, but the champion with the range usually
Okay.
has a very high advantage, like a very good advantage, right?
Mhm.
Like how do you ever walk up and hit Caitlyn? It's like impossible, right?
Yeah.
Unless you have your ulti and your flash, it's like you're never gonna hit her without getting hit first, something like that, right? So that's why it's always like, oh, Twitch is like disgusting because he can ult for like for his super long range for like 6 seconds or whatever, and then by that time he's over, the fight's over, right? Or like Caitlyn Tristana, you can't get close without getting hit, right? So champions like Xayah have a kind of inherent disadvantage when it comes to the late game, right? You're right in that Xayah has a lot more damage, like potential damage, if she just presses W, hits the closest guy, right? The problem is like getting close enough to hit someone like that, right?
Yeah.
So for Vayne, it'd be easier because she can go invisible and they can't stop her. That'd be like a way to close the range. For Xayah, the only way to close the range would be like flash, right? That's the only thing I can think of. So
Yeah, pretty much just flash, unless you can get a W off with rapid fire or something.
right. So I wouldn't say you're completely wrong in that Xayah outscales. I would say she's stronger at different things than Caitlyn is, right? You guys are both strong, like game. I would say that's a
Yeah,
good
AD carries.
Yeah. And then mid game for sure, right? Like what does Caitlyn do? Pray for another item.
Yep.
So you guys definitely have that on her. But for laning, what is Xayah good at in laning? In terms of laning.
Burst. burst in, follow up on CC. I mean, we lose if we get poked out, but if either one of them gets hit by a root, it's over.
Right. So kind of catch / all in, right? You guys want to all in them after landing a CC, and they want to just poke 24/7, right? They don't want to all in because these champions cannot all in, right?
Correct.
Karma can only do a mantra Q, and Caitlyn can only reliably hit damage from range, right?
Yeah.
So that's one important thing to note, because that'll tell you how to play out this lane, right? So if you ever see an opportunity to all in and you don't take it, that's like a mistake, right?
Yep.
In terms of how we could have won this lane. And then since you said they're poke, let's talk about starting items. What do you want to start against poke?
Usually Dorn's shield, but I don't know. I thought here with fleet footwork and the little bit of lifesteal that Blade offers me, I would be able to sustain through and have that little bit of extra damage. So if we did catch someone, we could actually get a kill.
So the damage from Blade is, I'm not gonna say negligent, but it's close because
it's pretty low. Yeah, 8.
It's like it's not invisible, but if you're basing like, okay, so you're saying we want the Blade because it strengthens our all in by a little bit. But then what do you lose? You lose the shield, which nullifies their poke by a lot, right? So personally, I would have taken the Dorn shield. I'm not saying it's like completely wrong, but taking into consideration, if you lose the lane due to poke, maybe next time you'd be like, oh, against Caitlyn Karma, I want to start Dorn shield, right? Because what's going on right now?
Yep.
So
I got hit by both their Qs.
Yeah, right. So how do we prevent this kind of situation?
Don't stand next to the minions while they're trying to shove.
Right. And also, can you give me a reason why we use Q here?
Because I didn't think I would get the CS without it.
Okay. Have you ever heard of the idea that CS is not necessarily everything when it comes to laning, right?
Yes.
Like, what's more important, CS or wave control, right? A lot of players will say CS. And I agree. What about CS versus HP? Which is more important?
HP.
Right. So if you sacrifice your HP to get this CS, we have an issue, because this is the time when CS matters the least, which is getting level 2 first, right?
Yeah.
Because if you guys get level 2 before them, they're gonna be really sad, right? You can actually zone them from the wave, because there's not much they can do about it, right? They try and fight, you guys just hit them with everything, and then you win. So alternatives you could do, instead of using the Q on here, you can auto attack and then like save Q to hit them, or basically use it in a way that doesn't do much, right?
Okay.
Remember that in the first wave, the first 2 waves, you really want to push. Like getting on the CS is like super good, but if I could get 0 CS but get level 2 on them and zone them, that's gonna be like 6 CS anyways, right? So be wary of that when you use abilities, and when you're watching out for their poke, right? So number 1 is making sure you don't get hit, and number 2 is on the first 2 waves you want to see if you can push, right? But it seems like they didn't do anything with their level 2, so that's good. Also, I think the quality is coming out soon, right? For YouTube videos. Awkward, because we're getting hit here. So when we talk about our what our lane wants to do, what their lane wants to do, you want to not get hit by poke no matter what, right? And you guys want to all in, right? So what level can you all in? Level 1, level 2?
Level 2 we can. Level 3 it's a lot better.
Why level 2?
Because I have QE. It depends on what Xayah took, actually. If
she's always going to take plants. Yeah, she's always going to take plants.
Yeah, if she's got QW, then not till level 3.
Right. It's a very important distinction, because especially in things like Alistar lanes, right? Alistar gets massively stronger at level 3 when he can stun people after comboing, right? That's actually like a almost guaranteed kill, even if they're full HP. So making a distinction like that is super important, because they're just always going to take W, right? So yeah, I guess try and think about when you want to do what you want to do, right? So what did you want to do? You want to all in. When do you want to do it? Level 3, right? So we would say we don't take any damage. Try and take as little damage as possible, so that when level 3 comes around, we can win lane, right? Because we're kind of taking enough damage to the point where even if we hit level 3, this might not work, right? So that's one thing to be careful about, right? So we can't get hit by anything. So what is something different we could do here? Let's rewind. So we're here, and we're like clearing these. Is there anything we can do to fight for the level 3?
Step up and try and get bush control when the wave moves up.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily get bush control, right? Can't you just put a trap here and you guys lose a bunch of HP? So one thing you can do is use your potion, right? Use your potion and hit this wave, right? And then if they hit you, you trade, right?
Okay.
And you know, if you trade, it's gonna be better than them poking you, right? We're just like kind of, we don't have to be zoned from the wave here. Is kind of what I'm trying to say, right? So what do they do if you walk up? Oh, you think they're gonna fight you? Who wins the all in, right? You guys theoretically should win the all in, unless you get hit by everything, which is kind of awkward. But you guys don't lose the all in, right? So you should know that. Oh, we can walk up here as long as we have full HP, and you know, if they have a jungler and they gank us, we just flash and we're good to go, right? So here we could be hitting these minions, and then she comes out. What happens is that you guys just 2v1 her, and then she loses a bunch of HP, you lose a bunch of HP, but then she'll be like, there's kill potential on her if she tries to do something like that, right? Especially when she misses like shit like that, right? So you do walk up here, but we kind of you spend so much time like not doing anything that they are gonna push you no matter what you do now. Right? Okay. So they're gonna get level 3 first, no matter what you do now, right? Yeah. So we fast forward. They're just gonna kill these minions. Boom, level 3. So that could have been our opportunity to maybe get to the point we needed to win lane, right? Yeah, I think that the not having Doran Shield is becoming a big factor, right? Because no matter how good you are, it's just that if they're the same skill level you are, they're probably gonna land some poke on you, right? Yep. So I would say that, you know, going Doran's Blade in a setting where you're at the same rank is disrespectful. Okay. I always go Doran Shield nowadays. Doesn't matter who my opponent is, unless I have like a massively winning lane.
Towards the end of the season there, when we started getting into like Arden meta and the poke sports started falling off, I started moving back to Blade, and since it's preseason and damage is goddamn everywhere, I haven't picked up Shield again yet. I'm slow to the adaptation, I guess.
Oh, okay. Rexay's coming for a gank. So this means you want to trade, right? You want to hit her. Yeah. If possible. This is too obvious now. Oh my gosh, she got hit. Wait, this is free. What's going on? Wait, what am I watching? Okay, she's messed up everything.
Netted the wrong way and then flashed.
Yeah.
On top of the Rek'Sai.
Yo, I don't know what's going on, but okay, I'll take it, right? We'll take it. So that's good. A good follow-up, right? What do you want to do now? I think you're doing it, but what do you want to do
shove it into tower and back.
Right. Any other options you can take?
We could go up and take Dragon, but I think that's Cloud, and I haven't been paying attention. I don't know where their mid laner is. Oh, he's dead.
Right. I would say that
we could go take Dragon, but
I would say it's kind of early. Yeah, I agree. It's like kind of too early to do Dragon. So, so buying BF here does what for your lane?
Increases our kill potential massively.
Right. So you should know that the instant you get to lane, you want to all in like immediately. That would be your best. This is your best time because you're gonna get poked down, right? So one thing you can do is gank your own lane, right? Have you heard that before?
Yeah, come around from the river.
Right. This is a classic all-in support tactic, right? And since I mean, I guess we're an all-in lane, we can do that. We just go around, and then once you're behind Caitlyn, she can't get away, right? All she has is a net, and she has no flash. So that's one thing we can do.
Alistar and Bard do that shit every goddamn time.
Yeah. Alistar do. Bard and Alistar are probably and Leona, Tom Kench, whatever. Those guys are the guys who abuse that the most. But looks like Annie's trying to help, but we kind of have a wave here, so it's kind of hard to do much. Sure.
When someone shows up, because it happens all the time, where someone will come to gank and I've got a wave pushing into my tower. Is it better to ignore the wave and let it die to tower and go help with the gank, or should I just stay and take the wave?
All right, here's a question: how much money do you get from 6 minions on average?
180 or so, 150.
Right, around that area. How many do you get from a kill?
300.
How many do you get from an assist?
150 split between everybody.
All right, so the money is the same, right?
About, yeah.
Now, if you kill them, they can't do anything, and if you get the wave, they can still do stuff. So you should go help if it's gonna result in someone dying, right? If someone's gonna die because you helped, you should go help, right? That's kind of how I think about it. What
if it's more of a gray area where you're not really sure if they're gonna
right
die?
Then you're wasting your time, right? So then you don't help, right?
Okay.
But if you know for sure, right? Or if you can kind of look to see if they're gonna get baited, right? So what's one way you can look?
If you can step up and make them like commit to you.
Right, try like walk up and trade as much as possible. Then Annie can just walk out and touch them and they die, right?
Yep.
But it looked like they were kind of she looked like she kind of hesitated, right? She had no idea. She walked forward a little bit. So you can tank minions. You can pretend to be stupid, right? That's one thing you can do to bait them in. So, you know, here you could be standing here and pretend to be AFK. What I do is sometimes I'll walk to lane in a straight line and pretend I'm AFK. And they hit me and then all of a sudden they get ganked, right? That's very common. That I learned that in Korea. I was like, wait, why is this guy walking up? And then it was a 4-man gank. And I was like, holy shit, right? That's the thing, right? So if you wanted to bait it all in, for example, coming back into lane, and say you had a Rek'Sai here, you click straight into this bush and you're walking in a straight line. At first, they like don't hit you, and then they're like, wait, what is he doing? And then they hit you, and then they get ganked, right? That's like one thing you can do. But in this case, if you want to bait this guy, my advice would be tank these minions, right?
Okay.
Because what's the worst case scenario? Okay, you took like 100 damage and minion damage, and then what was the reward? Risk to reward is that you get another kill, which leads into tower, dragon, like a nice, you know, CS lead. I don't know. But it's a big reward, right? So in terms of risk versus reward, you could have tanked that minion wave, like stood there and see what they would do. If they hit you, Annie's getting closer. If they don't hit you, then you know this gank isn't working, so you tell Annie to back off, so you don't waste any more time, right? That's kind of one thing you can do. In terms of, you know, is my team coming to gank? It's also kind of hard to see because this is like it just got uploaded, so it's not processing yet, right? So
potato quality.
I'll say, you know, in a lane where they're just poking you out, you guys have okay CS, right? Not the worst. Could be better, but not the worst, right? And now,
if you click on the gear thing for the screen, you might be able to change the quality or refresh it, because I just opened the video and it's giving me an option to go HD.
Oh, hell yeah. Refresh, baby. Let's go. Does it look better now?
Yeah, way
Less
better.
Potato
I can actually
quality?
read names.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is good. Good. So yeah, the fact that you're pushing in here, good or bad?
Good.
Okay, why?
A, we just saw Twitch up by red, and B, if we push in, we pressure the lane and give ourselves more opportunities.
Perfect.
Or,
so
like this, we're camping a bush.
Right, and Rek'Sai is doing dragon because he knows that the enemy bot lane's not coming, right? So this is good. You guys want to all in. Obviously, this is not going to work because it's just Caitlyn and Karma. Oh, Jesus Christ. What the fuck? So he baited himself into thinking there's no one there. That was really... Okay, that was good. Very good. That was interesting because if I were them, I would have used a trap or used the ward after you checked. But this is good. That was really good. Really good find opportunity. Good stuff. Wait, this guy lost a dragon, I think. That Rek'Sai. Oh, that Rek'Sai was looking to help mid lane or something.
No, that's... I told you I was duoed for this game. I'm duoed with the jungler. And he actually the entire time was asking for help with dragon because he started it without smite.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's not your fault. So
and then we killed Xayah, Karma.
Yeah, you ignore that shit, dude.
He's dying the dragon.
I mean, I don't know what to say about that. He did without smite. Of course, you're not gonna. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense, right? But yeah, I think you did the right thing, right? You could have, maybe camped this bush, whatever. But I had no idea he was doing it without smite, right? Oh, we can even do it again. You have ulti this time, right? So this is even better.
Yeah,
because we know they didn't word this. Oh, they worded it now.
I was gonna say I think Caitlyn backed off. But,
so if you know they're gonna ward here, you just do the same thing except you stand at this bush, right? And you ulti it immediately when they get into ward range. That's gonna be a flash or something, but it's fine, right? This is a-okay too. We already have a lead. We don't need to throw it, right? Twitch could be on the way. It's fine. We don't have to go for this. Base here, right? Good stuff. So far, pretty clean except for getting hit by, abilities, right? And missing some CS because of that. But I think overall, we're doing good, right? Would you say?
The early poke.
Right. But in the for the most part, I think it's pretty good.
This one was just I was coming back to lane and everyone was dead by the time I got there.
Oh baby, what's going on here? So we can win this. Wait, you just kill this guy. Yep. Okay,
Yep.
good.
Yep.
So one thing to note is that when you're pushing a wave, what abilities do you need to use when you're pushing a wave?
Need? None.
Okay, what's desirable though?
As few as possible.
Right. So
If I had had my E for this, we would have killed both of them. Maybe.
I guess this would fall under map awareness, right? Because it's not that we shouldn't use abilities for the wave. It's that if no one's near us, we can use abilities for the wave. But if people are coming, we should save it.
Was
right.
MIA, and since Annie's here, we should expect him here.
Right. Like, it's super unlucky that you can say it's super unlucky that he came out right when you used your E. What if he was waiting for that, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Be careful when if we look at the map here. Oh, Malzahar's coming down. We should push this, but you can use your Q, but definitely don't use your W, which is good. And maybe consider not using your E, for example, right? Because that guy's dead if you had your E. Whew, can't speak. I don't know why everyone's running here though. That's kind of weird. Oh, he's probably afraid of Twitch. That's fine. That makes sense.
I think he's on cooldown from killing the Caitlyn.
Right. And honestly, I think this is, overall the outcome is fine, I think, right? Because what did they use? Malzahar flash ulti, Twitch ulti to kill Annie, and then you guys still got the return kill. So, and you yourself got the kill. So, honestly, overall, it's like good result. And I think you played it perfectly fine, but maybe you could have saved stuff for it. Here, can we get this tower? Yes or no? Right here. We know whether or not you can get the tower.
Not, no.
Right. Why is that?
Because Karma and Caitlyn have been dead for a while. They're probably going to show up in about 2 seconds like they do.
Right. We know that because we just fought someone and we already pushed the wave in, right? That was the wave that they ganked us on, right? So we should know that if you really wanted that tower, you're going to have to back after a few hits, right? I was actually kind of afraid of like Twitch return gank, but Twitch died mid, so...
Yeah, that's why I threw the pink in that bush. So Xayah could just sit on it.
Also, in those cases, you're also vulnerable to TP ganks as well. Right. I fall for that a lot sometimes.
Oh yeah, me too.
So yeah, be very careful about that, right? I don't know what's going on here. He's gonna get away. Oh, you got it, right? Oh my, what is he doing? Wait, this might work. Okay, that's what I thought. He's dead.
No, he's not.
What? They just missed They actually just missed everything. Well, he should be dead, but I guess he gets out. That's fine.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Good stuff. Rexai. That actually worked. So, good for him. Good for you guys. They have no karma. You're gonna dive this shit, right? So you should be hitting this guy. So anytime you have more people, you want to trade, right?
Okay.
So in terms of a dive, you are diving the enemy team. You want to trade, and then your team dives, and you win, right? If you are getting dove, you do not want to trade, right? Because
you want as much health as possible.
Right. They dive you, and then you die immediately. And then if you're defending a dive, right? If you're getting a gank and the enemy's pushed up, you trade, and then they run away, and they die running to their tower, right? So basically, anytime you have more people, you want to trade as much as possible, right?
Yeah.
So when you back off here, it's like, maybe we could walk forward, right? Because if he turns to fight, he dies to Rek'Sai. So that's like an opportunity to hit him for free, I guess. Is one might say, right? We probably can't dive anymore because mid lane died, right? That's fine. We can still push, right? Pushing is a-okay, right? I'm more concerned about... Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
I think that's one of my issues. I tend to be unwilling to give up my health in exchange for theirs. So let's say I win a trade by 50 health. It still makes me uncomfortable because I'm at half health too. And I need to get better at recognizing when, like I can step up and fight that Caitlyn. Even if she hits me, she's still gonna die.
Right. And one thing, that's like a common issue people have with trading is they don't really understand the purpose of it, right? A lot of people, when you tell them, oh, you should hit them here, they think that trading is about, oh, we just hit each other back and forth. until someone dies. That's not really how it works, right?
Mhm.
You're getting an advantage for whatever reason, right? We have more people, so your health is worth more than mine because you're just gonna die immediately. I'm just gonna trade, right? That's the kind of idea behind it.
Mhm.
In this case, right? If you trade, he's gonna die to Xayah. Wait, what the hell? This trap doesn't get you? Interesting. But when we see Karma here, right? Can you dive?
When Karma's mid?
Yeah.
Yeah. If we land a root.
As long as Twitch isn't here, right?
Yeah.
That would be my concern is, oh, where is the Twitch? But I'll say there's a high chance of Twitch going mid. So maybe there's an opportunity here. But, you know, if we don't go for it, I think that's okay too, right? We just get the tower. I think that's fine too.
We just went for first tower. Yeah, because we saw Annie die mid, so we were like, let's take the tower before they take the mid tower.
Right, that's perfectly fine. Okay, do you win this fight or not?
The fight mid right now, like
Yeah,
ignoring us? No, we lose.
No. Like you guys on the way.
Oh, then yes.
I would say this is gonna be a maybe, right?
If Twitch shows up, it'll be iffy.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If Twitch shows up, so this is a 4v4. We're missing some stuff. Oh, this is a maybe. I think this is turning pretty. What face? Where's the Twitch? Is my question. This is not gonna go well, right?
Yeah.
This is awkward.
I chipped out.
Oh, baby. Okay, wait, that was hot. Nice. I was gonna say maybe you don't use your ult, but I mean,
I chipped out
walked
for a sec,
into
but
it.
then Karma gave me the free kill.
Interesting. Alrighty. Okay, what do you want to do here?
Here?
Yeah.
That top wave?
Usually, I would say that top wave, but why can't we go for the top wave?
Because Twitch might be waiting in the jungle to kill me.
Right, Twitch is retarded in jungle, right? That shit is. What can you do? You need to be full HP and have your ulti. Oh my god, what is going on? Oh, now you can go on the top wave, right? You see this guy? You cancel your back, right? Okay, good. I don't think we need to push mid though. There's nothing to get here. Just let someone else push mid, right? Because you can't hit the tower. So when you see like this is, it's good to start the recall. Like so, say for example. In the days of Hecarim and Olaf, it's the same thing, right? Twitch is super stupid. They're standing in this bush, whatever, right? They're gonna kill you if you go. The instant you see them on the map, that can change your plan, right? That's like, oh, you can go get that right now, right? Because if you go there, then Tom Kench can go bot or something like that, right? But the important part is that the AD carry is getting a ton of farm, right? A ton of money. So that would be one thing you could do is, the instant Twitch shows up, I can go do whatever I couldn't go do before. Okay, this is really awkward, right? So this is why, why I was mentioning, what can you get mid? You can't really get anything. So then, I don't know. You either get nothing or you die, right? And both options are pretty bad. So you guys are probably gonna lose. Dragon right here. This is playing from behind, right? Even though you yourself are not behind, your team is kind of losing after Twitch got those kills. So what to do is. What Xayah is doing right now is trying to sneak something, right? So trying to do something when you haven't pushed out first, right? That could be an option. Or wave clearing, which is what you're doing, right? Or you're gonna use this pink to put it somewhere, right? That would be a really good option. So.
Oh yeah. Also, how many pinks is too many pinks?
When you're not able to finish items because you're buying too many pinks.
Because there are some games where I buy like between 7 and 10 pinks.
I mean, it's fine if you're ahead, or maybe if you're so useless you can't do anything, right? But just make sure that you're not like, oh, I can't complete this Infinity Edge third item because I bought like a million pinks this game. Okay, that was a really nice dodge. Wow, very nice. Wait, so where does this game go wrong if it goes wrong?
It doesn't.
Oh, interesting.
It turns around and we fall behind through some throws, but I just can't continue on this trajectory.
This is pretty clean-ish early mid-game, right? This is so far so good, I would say. We could use some refinement, but I would say this is no problem in Diamond 4, right? Diamond 5?
Yeah, I think this one was D4.
No problem at all, right? Fast forward, you guys can just do Rift Herald. You can go mid and then base. You can go, you're probably not going to go top. Oh my god, he's going to kill himself. What am I watching? Twitch is coming. I don't think it matters. They're just walking into your team, right? Everyone just walks away. Woo, we got the rift. Okay, if you guys chase, that could be a problem. Someone dies for free. Good stuff. I don't think we really care about any of this. Okay, here we go. Can you get anything after that you guys won that fight?
I could have gone bot lane.
I'll say backing is fine here.
We could have gotten top tower.
Right. But I think your team's already on that, so I think this is fine, right? We're just double checking to see if we could have done anything better.
They dropped us top. Yep.
Right. So I think that's a-okay. And then basing, because you have 1600 gold, is definitely okay, right? Come in. Clear all this out. Basically, you guys should win at this point, right? Just make sure you guys don't do anything stupid, like push out before your team is ready, or walk into face check like a Malzahar, Caitlyn Bush. That would be really awkward. So, okay. Annie's just walking forward. I think she's pretty strong, right?
Yeah.
She might be taking a 1v4 though, so that is awkward.
Yeah, I think she was about as fed as me, but she had like 8 deaths by the end of it.
Interesting. Okay, and then you guys kill the top laner somehow. I don't really know what's going on, but we can talk about this. So, when you are against a team comp that can wave clear, what do you do?
Split push and drop wards in the or not split push, but push several lanes, drop wards in their jungle, and catch them on rotations.
Right. Perfect. Right, because if you siege, you are unlikely to get anything unless your team can dive. Right? Can your team dive? No, we don't have. We have Annie, which is good for catching people, but in terms of straight up diving, I doubt it. Right? So in this case, it's good that you guys are going doing this, waiting for your bot to push. I don't know why Xayah is top, but I guess that works out. But yeah, we definitely don't want to fight this. So if she does something stupid like this, we just leave her, right? Yep. Because realistically speaking, how do we win a 3v4?
Massive outplays and stupidity on their part.
Right, so not really. Can't really, right? Can't really force a win, which is what we're looking for here, right? So Tom Kent just pushing bot, which is good, right? He ulted in, doesn't do anything. So I don't know what Annie was doing, but it's good that we kind of should not help, right? We did lose a lot of HP for no reason, but I think it's still okay, right? As long as you can recover it here, right? Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, no, I face tanked some.
We just need some HP somewhere. Otherwise we can't really do anything, right? So yeah, okay, push. Whoa, what's going on here? You pinged their red, but then no one went. I'll say that's fine, right? So why aren't we going for their jungle stuff?
Why aren't we, or why are we?
Why aren't we?
Because Twitch.
Right, but then when you see him, isn't that an indicator that you can go?
Yeah, but he has red buff, so I just assumed it was.
You assumed it was theirs. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. That's fair. I would have tried to rob their Wraith camp myself, but I think this is okay too, right? Like, you only have to be afraid of the engage when you can get engaged, right? So when you see Twitch, you know that the fastest he can get to you is walk in a straight line and press Q, right? So as long as you account for that, you can take whatever you want. So I think we're kind of stalled out here because Annie died. I'm not really sure what's going on now, but so if our team doesn't know how to break open a base, what should we do?
Collect farm and help set up vision to try and get those picks.
Right. I would say like this is like what we're doing right here, right? Is exactly what we should be doing. But instead of collecting farm, think of it as pushing out so you can rotate first, right? So helping your team wherever possible is definitely good because you guys want to fight. You guys are winning. And then you guys need to... Oh my god. Everyone's mid! Why is everyone mid? You guys better be able to force this. Otherwise, you guys are going to be kind of sad for 30 seconds. Right? I don't know what's going on here, but if your team doesn't know how to do this, you can go in the side lane. And push it, right? And you say, who can stop me Twitch? How do I beat Twitch? So how do you beat Twitch?
I have to ult when he ults, and I have to hit him with the snare.
Perfect, right? So ult when he ults, press W, E flash. Boom, you win, right? Unless he's insanely good and he dodges your E flash, that's a guaranteed win. Or if he has like 3 items or 4 items, you might lose. But that would be the game plan, right? And then, you know, so you can have for a backup, you'd be like, oh, I want Xayah next to me in a bush or something, right? But
I tend to be super hesitant to go to another lane because it seems like every time I do, my team engages 4v5 and then bitches if you're not being there.
Right. So if they get engaged 4v5, what are things you can do? You can spam back ping, you can spam forward ping where you are, or you can go help. Usually going help is depends on the situation, but going help could be an option too, right? Going to help because you're only 1 lane away. But you guys get the dragon, sure. Okay, this Camille is actually just like dying 24/7, but let's watch what happens. Okay, and he doesn't. I wanna watch this actually. How did she miss her stun? Oh, was that Malzahar shield? Oh, no, it wasn't.
She doesn't have stun. She's got stun. Must have been Karma flashed it and Mal's had shield.
What the fuck? Alright, anyways, it looks like this is going well. Okay, you guys can definitely just push mid, or you can go... Oh, wow, okay. This is awkward. Alright, Twitch is a problem. Okay. Interesting. I would say, don't worry about missing kills, right? But is there anything you could have done here?
During the fight?
Yeah. We'll
I could have flashed over and killed Twitch. I could have flashed over and killed Caitlyn.
Well, how do you kill Twitch? Wait, we gotta specify exactly how, right? Because in the middle of a fight, you have to come up with these, you know, kind of plans, these plays. How do you make it work, right? So, you can't really make it work, is what I'm saying.
No.
Why do we know you can't make it work?
I don't know.
How do you kill him? With auto attacks?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm all on cooldown.
Right, exactly. If he wasn't stunned or whatever, and you try to flash it over, you'd be dead 100%. Right?
Yeah, no. I'm saying right there, I should have flashed. Autoed him one more time before he got his flash off. But even then, if I didn't crit, he doesn't die. So. Yeah,
honestly, I would say it's okay. But I think here there's a different opportunity. He flashes whatever. I think in all, it's fine, right? I would say we don't worry about this either, because this is stuff that's not going to lose you games. So we're happy that we played it relatively well. I would say it's just kind of a slow game because people are just randomly dying. I don't know what's going on. It's kind of funny. Okay, this Camille is gonna die again, so maybe you guys can do Baron. Hopefully. This guy's just gonna die. We can just fast forward this. You can do Baron, you can push top, you have a lot of options.
Yeah, I think we just try and rush Baron. And yeah, Caitlyn gets caught.
People are dying. Good. Sure. Go to Baron. Take the Baron. Red. Good. Go bot. Someone dies again. Okay, just keep pushing. So basically all you have to worry about this game is you know, how do I not get caught by their engage, which is Malzahar and Twitch, right? And to an extent, Karma with speed up, but I think for the most part, this was like pretty clean, especially for this rank, right? All we have to do is play like this every game, and we're gonna climb. So, were there any questions from this game, or
not really?
It's just like, how do I?
Right, this was like one of the better games, but yeah, it's kind of like, how do I press that advantage harder?
Right.
If we're being honest, if I'd done a lot of the things you said, my lane would have gotten smashed a lot earlier than it did.
While that is true, I think that it's not necessarily something we need to work on yet, right? I think you just need to play like this every game. You need to play clean, right? This was relatively clean, right? No major mistakes is what we're looking for. And I think besides the whole poking and lane thing, and not starting Thorn Shield if we're gonna get hit that much is that was like the kind of biggest hole in your gameplay for this game, at least. Like this, look at this all. This is really good. You knew he was coming out. You're gonna eat him and he's gonna die. Good stuff.
And then I die.
That's honestly, this is okay, right? Everyone's just trying to whatever, trying to throw, trying to end whatever. Honestly, we don't worry about this shit. But were there any other games you want to look at too? Because I think for the most part, this is like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, play like this every game. That's what I'll tell you. Play clean every game.
I have 2 other games. I've got this game, and I've got this game. The first one there is another Xayah game, and just fucking nothing happened in my lane. We were like 0-0-0 with 150 CS at like 15 minutes, but then the enemy Xayah, went legendary, and everything just kind of went to shit. And then the other game was much more even. Like, neither side stomped. It was pretty even throughout, and then it was a slow kind of a loss towards the end.
Interesting. So which one would you want to take a look at first?
I think the Saber one is probably gonna be more useful because I'm sure there's things that I can like do better in that other Xayah game, but there are some games that, if we're being honest, you're just not gonna win.
Right. What the? Okay. Let's see. I can't even see the lane, but we have Saber and Tarek. Oh, that went by really quick.
Saber Tarek versus Lulu.
Ezreal. Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. All right. So how do you play this lane out? You know what? How do you win? How do you lose? Whatever.
We lose by getting poked out because they don't really have they could chase us down the lane, but that they don't have a way to stop us really. And we win if Tarek manages to land a stun somehow, but otherwise just shove in perpetually, draw jungle attention, and outfarm, outscale.
Right. Push the shit out of them. Right. That's exactly what you said. And the only thing they can do is try and get free damage. And you guys even have a Tarek heal, so it's kind of hard for them.
Ezreal doesn't show up till like 3 minutes or something.
Oh, what the hell? Interesting. So yeah, I guess you just shove, right? That's the game plan, is just push them in all day. They can't do anything about it, so you guys just get a natural CS lead because they have to farm under the tower. And Tarek can even like roam mid or something. Probably not gonna happen against Vlad, but he can roam into the jungle with Ivern. That could be something that might happen. But yeah, we can even get tower damage. This is like a lane where we can consider, we can hit the tower and they can't do much about it, right? What is something that we can be doing here?
We could rotate up and get wards. We could go kill Scuttle. We could hit tower. We could maybe think about diving her.
Right. I would say out of all those options, warding the tri-bush and hitting the tower would be your best. Scuttle takes too long. Diving her doesn't make sense because she has flash, right? And she's just going to exhaust. I think she has exhaust, right? So, she has no flash apparently, but you guys just don't have the damage, right? So in this case, hit the tower, right? So we already know what we're not doing wrong, right?
Yep.
Because tower damage is more important than pushing this because you know you're gonna be able to push it anyways, right? So there's no we push it to what extent, right? To hit the tower. So we go hit the tower, right? Because like, okay, say for example, you don't push this and then the wave is back and then you press W and you push it again, right? They can't stop. They still can't stop your push. So you would only do something like this in a lane where it's like kind of even, and you want to always get the push advantage on them, right? That would be
you need the extra time while they're clearing the wave.
Exactly. That's a lane where you would need to hit this instead of hitting the tower, right? And even then, you'll still see a lot of players hit the tower because the tower HP is really relevant in the bot lane. So yeah, I don't know where Ezreal is, but this is kind of weird.
Yeah, I supported him the game before, and it happened there too. He just doesn't show up until like 2.5 minutes.
Interesting. Like just DC'd or some shit?
Yep, pretty much.
Interesting. Well, something's going on mid, not really your concern. Well, kind of your concern, but not really anything you can do about it. But yeah, definitely we need to be hitting this tower, right? So every time we're not hitting this tower, we have an issue, right? So this is really good here. But we could have done that like before too. And push, really good. And then make sure that if he E's in, he doesn't have level 2. But if he does E in, you're ready to hit him, right? Everything is Gucci. So one thing we can do, okay, you're already doing it. I was gonna say you can pressure them when they're right. Exactly. You can pressure them when they're trying to get stuff. This is kind of awkward. Okay, that's fine. I was gonna say land the Q first, but he doesn't have level 2, so
I got
polymorph
too.
Right. But we're getting close to being gank range, so we need to pop a potion probably. Okay, good. Yeah, basically you get like a field day with this lane, right? This is a good replay to look at if you want to push advantages, right? Because since you're pushing, every time he looks for a CS, you can hit him, right?
Yeah.
So also I would say, you know, why boomerang here? For example,
I was trying to shove and get poke off at the same time.
I would say this can work, but it's like a low percentage play, right?
Gotcha.
Because we only want to pressure them when they want something, right? This is like a common mistake in the higher ranks where you try and throw abilities when there's like they can dodge for free, right? They don't need to worry about CS or anything. All they have to do is focus on dodging. And if you ever play with the like players who can dodge at will, this is like an impossible skill shot, right? You always want to pressure them when they want something. Like he's gonna Q that, so that's your time to hit him, for example. Right. The fact that you hit him is good, but it's like not 100%, right? So like every time he wants a minion, boom, throw a boomerang. So either he gets hit and gets the minion, or he gets hit, doesn't get the minion, or he doesn't get hit and doesn't get the minion, right? So all three outcomes are good for you. That's really what we want. So yeah, one thing to look at. When he does something like that, you gotta hit him, right? This is called how do we describe this? So he's trying to, you know what he's gonna do, or you know that it's possible he can do this, right? Because you see it like every other Ezreal game, even though it's not good. When he does this, what is your response?
Turn around and hit him.
Right. You can auto attack, reset, and Q, and then he just lost a massive trade, right?
Yeah,
that's something we can
like 3 or 4 times, and it surprised me every time because I was like, he's level 2, no way he's gonna do that, right?
Right. When you see it the first time, that's your like what's it called? You know, you're like, oh, that's how he plays. You can punish him next time, right? Or maybe you're like, oh, we have to be scared of a gank or something. I don't know, but that was really nice, really close. It's fine you don't flash for that, right? Because they have heal and exhaust. So that's perfect. And you just hit this tower. Everything is Gucci, right? Literally, he can't even get the CS. Tarek is even pressuring them. So really not much they can do. Lee Sin's coming. Okay, that's fine. So you can okay, so what's one thing we can do? In this is kind of a clear example of this gank is impossible. So what can we do?
Hit the Lee Sin.
Right, just fucking hit this guy. What is he gonna do? He's gonna Q you? Sure, like let him Q you. He's gonna lose 100%. But it's basically we should try and punish them when they're doing something stupid, right? How do you know this gank is impossible?
Because they're way the hell away.
Right, and what else?
Ezreal has no mana. Lulu's super low. Ezreal's like half.
So this is a 2v1, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So how does he win a 2v1? He kills Tarek. How does he kill Tarek?
He lands the Q.
Alright, so I have no idea how he would land this if you're standing in front of him, right?
Yeah, I was trying to block it with the spell shield, but then he missed.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. But, you know, why do we want to block it with the spell shield, though?
So that he can't get on top of Tarek. I guess I could have let him hit me and get on top of us and kill himself, but I was afraid he could like dash away, ward hop away or something.
Nah, yeah, you could just kill this guy, right? There's literally not a chance in France you guys lose this. It's kind of like impossible, right? You have heal, so unless he has a serrated Dirk or something, which I'm sure he doesn't.
No, he's got
there's no way.
Trackers, I think.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like he needs to have like a BF sword or some shit. I don't know. Not even then, you still win that. I'm pretty sure. He'll need like a full item. I would say you still win that. All right, there's just no way. So if you ever see like a situation where there's no way for them to win, right? So I think we're seeing this come up quite often, where there's no way they can win, but we're not hitting them, right? So if you recognize like, oh, this gank is impossible, and you hit this guy and he goes through with it, what happens is that Ivern comes down and you guys are just chasing them and they die, right? There's no way for them to be able to actually do anything. So you actually want them to like fight you there because they can't actually fight you. It's like it's an extreme example would be like Ezreal walks up with 1 HP and we walk away, right? It's not. It's obviously not that obvious, but it's a situation we should try to recognize is,
Yeah.
oh, if he comes out, what do I do? All right, if he is in, what do I do? Hit him back because he can't win. If Lee Sin comes to gank, what do we do? We're okay because we have flash and heal. No way they can win, right? How about here, for example? Can we win this?
Can we?
Right. Did you win that or not?
No.
Right. And why is that?
Because it was a 1v2. Tarek was just up behind me.
Exactly.
Not part of the fight.
So against these shield supports, what do you do?
Make him pop a shield and hit the other one.
Right. Or yeah, I mean yeah, you can come up with any amount of responses, but the only thing we can't do is just hit the AD carry. Yeah. We can't hit the AD carry, right? You either hit Lulu or, you know, maybe sometimes not possible. She shields herself. You still lose. So what do? You push, right? So we know in this lane, we don't want to push. We just want to throw Boomerang on his last hitting. And we don't want to take these extended trades where they just 2v1 us, right? Obviously, it's like not that big of an issue right now, but stuff like this can add up, right? If we didn't know that beforehand, right? You know, it could come up in a different game. The same mistake, right? So stuff like that is really good, right? Where Lulu is forced to guess if you're gonna Boomerang or some shit, and then you still got the first part of the Q off him, right? So that's like really good. But make sure we don't just like stand there and hit him because Tart can't help us, right? That'd be like it's like kind of giving away part of our advantage, right? Giving away part of our HP advantage. Remember what we said about if you have more people you want to trade, they want to trade if Lee Sin's here, right? Which is he was, but they didn't trade you hard enough. So kind of interesting development going on here. So if you wanted to back, when do you back?
Now.
And why is that?
Because the cannon wave's showing up and we shoved it in. We should have backed before. I shouldn't have tried to throw that Q, but...
Perfect. I completely agree. This guy is trolling, so you guys are gonna get his flash. Good stuff. Right? So this is an example. You did this... I mean, you've already shown that you can do this. He eased in, you beat the shit out of him, right? Just make sure that for the other times, try and expect the end game. It's kind of hard. It's like you know how to do all the stuff we're saying, right? But it's kind of hard to make it happen every time. Wow, what's going on here? This guy's trying to. I was pretty close. Whew. Yep. Right. So one thing we should notice is that this is warded, right? I think. This bush down here. Yeah. So be careful about backing in the closest bush. But in terms of, you know, what to say about this gameplay, what would you say? What you could work on?
Pressing advantages and jumping on opportunities when I see them.
And make sure that we're not missing any free CS, right? For sure, right? Oh man, I don't know what's going on mid. That's not really. Oh, this guy's gonna get away.
Oh no, it's great though.
Oh, is he gonna get away though?
No.
Dude, it's Daisy though. Oh my! Dude, I fucking love it. Yeah, I love it when someone dies to Daisy. That's not me.
Right?
It's so funny. Good stuff. Yeah, in this lane, you just want to push. Just make sure that while you're doing really well, I think that, you know, I'm not really seeing any major mistakes. It's just like missed opportunities that we're kind of not being able to capitalize on. Oh, okay, so we can say that trading is something we shouldn't do in this lane, right? Unless you're planning to out-sustain with Tariq, you don't want to just trade with Lulu shield, right? That could be one thing we could talk about. But I think for the most part, we're playing out this lane correctly, right? We're pushing them out like super hard. That's like really what we want to do. Okay, this guy fucked up his shield. Oh, kind of awkward. But yeah, we just need to push here. If you ever watch other people play Saber, they will just use their Q on the wave, and then by the time it gets to tower, they can use Q again, right? That's one thing you can look at. Like this. Okay, maybe we should like focus on this too. Don't try and use abilities when it's like there's no reason to. Yeah, there's just no reason. You need him for like, when would you use on Lulu? When she's running in one direction, chasing or running away, or if she's like auto attacking in the middle of an auto attack animation. It doesn't matter what the reason is. You need a reason. So what's the reason here? Running away in a straight line. We can say that. But the distance is too far, so it will never work. It's just easiest to need to be able to reason out something, right? Because since we don't have Boomerang, we can't use it right now. But yeah, you should definitely be pushing this and trying to hit the tower, I think. and say you can say something like, "Oh, I'm gonna hit the tower. Who's gonna stop you? Who's gonna stop you?" I just come up with that right now. Like, who's gonna stop you?
Lee Sin, Ezreal and Lulu, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's who their top laner is, but I think he was getting shit on this game.
Let's just pretend it's a 2v2, right? That's a common scenario where you hit the tower. How do they stop you?
Hit me.
Who hits you?
Ezreal hits. They both do. Mostly Lulu though, because Ezreal can't really hit me through the minions.
Right. Exactly. Right. So you're gonna stand on top of the minions. Ezreal can't hit you. You're just gonna auto attack. In which case you auto W him. Lulu walks up for WEQ. Right. What's the range on that? That's shorter than your boomerang. So if she walks up, that's a reason for you to use a boomerang because she's clicking on you, and then you Q her, and then you win that mini trade. You come back and do it again. Right. So it's kind of one thing you can do is try and figure out what you want, and then how do they stop you, right? You want to hit this tower, so how do they stop you? They're gonna try and do damage to you, right? So what do we need? We need boomerang to prevent that. We need all our abilities to prevent that. We need our ulti to run away from Lee, right? So every time we use W on this tower, it's something we don't want to do, right? Because it's gonna aggro the tower, and we need the W to auto trade with Ezreal as kind of our example. Right, doesn't have to be Ezreal. It could be like something else. This guy, like we can't auto W him here because we don't have it, right? Yeah. So make sure we don't like waste any abilities. I think this is like a common mistake with diamond players is that we just like randomly use abilities. That's something I used to do too. Is just like just use it for kind of not a good enough reason.
Yeah.
So that's something we could work on. But I think still so far no real major mistakes. Okay, wait, hold up. What's going on here?
I'm not pushing when I should be.
Right. So why aren't we hitting this?
Oh, because we saw Lee Sin and I thought he was coming down, but then he invaded our jungle.
Hold on, let's back it up here.
Yeah, so we saw Lee Sin like in the river. I think he was killing Scuttle, and then he shows up again. So I was letting it push into us, so that it would be harder to.
You want him to gank though, right?
Yeah.
You want him to gank. You want to push it so he's like, oh, I should come down. So I think
I have flash and
right
heal and spell shield, so
right, you're wasting his time. Yeah, exactly. Basically, I think for the most part, you need to, if there's anything to say about your gameplay, it's like, oh, maybe we could work on laning. Is that try and figure out, how to play this lane out, which I think you know how to do. And then the second part is don't be afraid to like don't be afraid to like find your kind of not be don't be afraid, but kind of figure out, how do I use my advantage, or how do I get an advantage, right? So if we're here and he's sitting in this bush, we don't have to fight this, right? Because he's already wasting his time.
Yeah.
But like back here, when we should push this wave, we didn't know that because we're like, oh, he can get. It's easier for him to gank us, but we want him to gank us, right? And then back earlier when he ganked you, you could just hit him, right? There's no way for him to make the gank work. So it's like, try and like, I guess you already know how to do the current step, which is what do I want to do right now. The second part of it is how, what is their response, right? And what is my response to their response, right? So that's like, what are they gonna do, and how do I counter that, right? So like the example when I was like, oh, let's come up with a situation where you hit the tower. Lulu comes up to EU, and Ezreal is trying to auto attack you. You're gonna use your auto attack reset on Ezreal, and you're gonna Q Lulu, right? That would be an example of what's our response to their response, right? I think that's kind of your next step is trying to figure out what that is, because if you like, I don't know what happens in the rest of the game, but that Xayah game we watched was pretty clean for the most part, right? So I'm not sure. I'm not seeing any glaring weaknesses in your gameplay from these two replays. What do you think?
That tends to be like how it goes. I don't make any massive mistakes, barring the occasional Tristana jumping onto 3 of them, but I don't take any like huge opportunities to put myself really far ahead, and then it's just kind of a war of attrition. I don't take the opportunities to get far enough ahead, and I don't put myself ahead. So when, say, other members of my team get trounced in lane or I get ganked or something, I'm just even. So it doesn't, like, I'm not strong enough to do anything.
Well, interesting. Well, in terms of like, so basically, if your team is not doing well and you just go even, what is even though? Because 118 to 70, 118 farm to 75 is not really even, right?
I mean, no, definitely not here.
Just just like in other games.
Yeah,
too,
no, yeah.
I see.
Like every once in a while, I'll have those huge like blowout games where I absolutely smash, but it's definitely more rare, and it's more likely that I have a game where I'm like 1-0 or 0-1 or something like that.
Should we watch the other replay real quick? Because I feel like
yeah, sure.
I feel like this is gonna go in the same direction as the Xayah game, which is pretty clean, I would say. Like,
kinda. This game, it just kind of gets to we get to team fighting, and they just kind of do Vladimir things, and he blows up our entire team, and we have no damage.
Alright, we can take a look at this. Okay. Wow. Okay, hold up. Let's back it up. So how do we know we don't want to dive here?
He's got all his summoners.
And
we have no minions.
Yeah, okay, the big one is that you have no minions, so you don't want to die, right? It's just, unless you instantly kill someone, which is not happening. Everyone wants to get out right now. So the reason why this goes badly is because we're not, like, getting out, right? Like, I would say the more important thing is don't follow up on this. And just wait for the next wave, right? Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but this is not going to work, right? And the reason why Vlad is doing Vlad things is because we're probably already low HP, right? Yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
I don't think he does a ton in this fight. He might clean up, but then later in the game, he's hella fed and just one-shots me.
I see. I'll say maybe Rift Herald is okay if you guys have pink words and they can't face check. I don't know, interesting. I think we should check out the next game though. Okay. Unless you know.
No, I don't think there's a ton to be gathered from this one.
Now it's a nice spell shield, right? You just hit this closest guy, kind of lowering HP. Don't step on that shroom. Oh god. I think that's like whatever, but
goddamn shrooms.
I'll say for the first, like the laning phase, I think was fairly good, right? For the most part, right? We played it theoretically well, sure. Maybe we're too safe when we should have been more aggressive, but it's better than the other way around, where you just like give up free shit for no reason, right? So, okay, interesting. We're trying to force this to happen because we have more people, but they just walk away. Nice try, I guess. All right, let's check out the last game. Is it this one?
One I think titled Stompy Xayah game. Yeah.
Is this stomping the other way? Like they're stomping you guys?
Yeah, their Rek'Sai goes like legendary.
Oh boy. Interesting. Trying to push this wave out. Good. Right? We always want to be pushing against these guys unless we have no flash. Right? So in this lane, can you tell me what happens in this lane?
We can all in them if we get a root, but if Vayne dodges my feathers, then I'm gonna be real sad.
So I guess the question is, what does your side want to do, and what does their side want to do?
We want to shove them in and get tower damage because Vayne has no wave clear, and let Karma poke.
Right.
And look for an all in.
Right, shove and poke. But okay, we can get to that part. What do they want to do? If you guys want to shove and poke,
scale, and counter shove, I guess.
They want to. Okay, if they can't poke, what can they do?
All in.
What that Vayne just did right there, right? Okay, they can all in. What else can they do? Right here.
Oh, just trade.
Right, because they have the Lulu shield, right? So anytime you're against the shielding support, they want to trade, right? Anytime you guys have poke, they want to poke, whatever, Xayah, Karma, whatever this is. Blitzcrank, Thresh, they want to catch / all in, right? So you guys want to, like you said, poke, push, and then maybe you can find a catch. But in the end, if you all in, you're gonna lose unless you have unless they start with low HP, right? Similar to if you guys were playing Caitlyn Karma versus what was it? Xayah Zyra. Wow, that's funny. Xayah Zyra. You're gonna lose the all in, right? So in this case, you don't want to all in. You don't want to trade for sure, right? Because you're gonna be super sad. But if you can find the root, that could be good. But you don't want to start anything unless you know you can land the root, right? So be careful about that. If you ever push up and then they try and fight you and they all in and you guys lose, that's the reason why. It's because they're better at all in. Let's fast forward here. We're pushing. So I think there's the 2 out of 3 games we get to see you push. I think when you're focusing on pushing, focus on the last hitting aspect because that's like a lot of money. And it seems like you've been in control of the last 2 games for a lot, like the whole lane phase, you know what I'm saying? So make sure that if you ever watch replays of like Korean AD carries, they first make sure that they get the last hit in terms of when they're pushing, right? They'll make sure no matter what happens, they're going to get the last hit unless someone is doing something crazy, right? Unless someone is trying to trade on them or something. But they'll always get the last hit. So try and be maybe if you're seeing yourself like in control of the whole lane phase, but you're missing some farm for some reason, that could be something to look at too. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, it looks like they get a successful trade in here, which could be really bad for you guys. Okay, never mind. That was really good for you guys. The reason being is why?
They condemned the Karma instead of me.
Yeah, I have no idea what they're doing, right? They can just hit you and they would probably win this.
Yeah, like we walked back in and I immediately stepped away from the wall expecting the condemn and then they just ignored me.
Alright, that was good. Good response by your part. But I think being out here in the first place could be kind of scary, right? Yeah, I don't know what they're doing, but good job by you. Good response. Now we have an HP advantage. We can just hit them every time they want to see us, right? Right, I'm not seeing any real big gaping flaws in your gameplay, which is good. So far, at least. Maybe are these games like kind of games that happen every time? Like
yeah, these are pretty standard. Like these aren't standout games or anything.
Interesting. How do you lose? I don't understand. Wait, what's going on here? Oh, you guys.
Udyr stole their jungle.
Right, it's interesting because I can't really figure out how you lose. Like, how are you, not climbing with this kind of gameplay? If that makes any sense.
Fast
forward.
Out of out of the last like 6 games or so, there was one game. There was that Twitch game where I was against xFSN. But other than that, these have been like my losses. This game and that Saber game where we just kind of got out team fought.
Maybe we should have looked back at the Saber gameplay. I think for sure. I think your laning is good to go for the most part, except for the one time I saw you lane against Poke. But even then, you recovered from that, right? So I think laning phase is not something you should really concern yourself with, at least in terms of what you should be working on next, because you're just like doing well in laning phase, from what I can see, right?
Okay.
Let's go back to that Saber gameplay real quick.
I will say the one thing that I do that can cause me to lose games is I don't get caught a lot, but if I do get caught, it is at the absolute worst possible time, and it just like ends up losing the game. And that's something I've been like working on. Things like don't wander through my jungle to get that massive wave because there's probably a Kha'Zix waiting in the bush. But that was an issue last season for sure.
Interesting. It's like clean until you die at the end.
Yep, pretty much.
Interesting. Wait, let's see what happens here.
Up until they're losing, they're winning.
Oh god, the Dignitas Baron throw. Okay, let's see what happens in this these, because you should win from here on out, right? You're like 3-1. You're really strong. Look at this. We're making good catches. We even kill this guy. Make sure we spell shield that. Okay, this is awkward, but I think you're still gonna live. Okay, I know you're like you're gonna push out this wave and you're gonna go do something, maybe. Okay, we're making something happen, or at least we're trying to. Okay, what's something we can do here? Okay, let's try and figure out how we can push the advantage when you gain an advantage, because you're always the one getting an advantage, right? So how can we turn this into something better? So after all this fight breaks out, right? What's your next step?
We can either go get vision on Baron or rotate bottom.
Okay, vision on Baron is very good. And rotate bottom for what purpose?
Because there's a massive wave there, and we could force them to come respond to it and maybe catch them in the jungle.
I think that is not bad, right? But I would say that if you go into their jungle, it's to take their camps. And like you said, put the vision down, right? But there's no reason for them to go bot because Baron is up, right? And
Okay,
Dragon's not up, right? There's like no purpose for them to just like face check. And you can say you want the wave down there, right? But here's the question. Is the wave pushing to you or is it pushing to them?
It's pushing to them, I think, right?
It's pushing to you, right?
Oh, is it?
Because when you push past the river, yeah, I can't really see either, but after you figure out waves, in terms of like, oh, is it pushing to you or pushing back? If you push it past the midway point, like you did a minute ago, it's gonna come back to you, right? So they're losing minions right now. So you have about like a minute or a minute and 30 seconds to do something while this comes back to you before you have to go get that. So I was thinking, maybe, the Baron Wards is very good, right? Steal their topside jungle, right, is very good. Or the big one is collapse on Teemo, right? Okay. Because if you kill Teemo, you can probably get Baron, in my opinion. But if we stand mid, we have nothing to do here, right? We push to an extent. Like to what purpose, right? We push to what purpose? We want to hit the tower. Okay, we can't hit the tower against that team, right? That's like how do you stop Vlad? Kind of hard. So, or how do you stop a Lee Sin or whatever? If you can come up with a way, go for it. But looks like you guys can't really hit the tower without it being wave cleared. Oh wow, okay, he's dying. But remember that you push for a reason, and you have to go figure out what that reason is, like before you're done pushing. Otherwise, you won't know where to go, right? So here, everyone can just go to Teemo right now, and then Lissandra can chase Teemo, but no one's going, right? So we need to push to a reason. So we need to go do something with our advantage, because like you guys get a lot of random kills, but then nothing happens, right?
Yeah.
So we need to figure out what should you specifically be doing, because when you guys get wave priority, when you guys push mid, they shouldn't be the ones getting the Baron vision. That's kind of awkward, right? Kind of doesn't make sense. Yeah, push to an extent, right? So you can push and go hit this guy, right? For example, you have more people, so you're gonna win this, which is what Kennan's going right now. Right. So chasing too hard though is probably not good.
Yeah. I expected Kennen to ult there, and we'd catch them, but
he probably wasn't. He was like slightly out of range or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, push for a reason, right? If we just stand mid, we're winning, quote unquote, but we're not closing out the game, right? Yeah, we're not doing anything, right? So you guys kill Teemo, everyone go Baron, right? And then make Vladimir face check, and then get rid of his pool. You can stop Baron or something like that. Right? Right here, like go into the river, clear other wards. There's definitely a pink in there somewhere, right? But we need to be doing something when we push out first. I think that is something we can definitely work on, right? Is when you push, figure out what you want to do, right? Because we're kind of not doing anything, right? Didn't we just we kill Teemo, kill Lulu, but nothing's happening, right?
I think everyone was trying to set up for that Infernal coming up in 20 seconds. I think.
So what can you do to help set that up?
Go get vision.
Yeah, walk in there and clear all the wards that are there, right? There are a lot of zombie wards, blue trinkets, pink wards that are just running around, right?
Yep.
But we're not doing anything here unless the plan is we're gonna engage on them when they hit me. If Ezreal E's in and you press ulti because your whole team's here, that would be a reason to be standing mid. But we don't have a reason, right? So we're just we need to be doing something when we get an advantage. Because I think you were in a very good spot out of lane. Like the last 3 replays, right? I think you were in a very good spot coming out of lane. So I think your focus should be on the out of lane portion, which is what should you be doing when you have this kind of lead, which is what you said in the beginning too, right? You're like, oh, how do I push my advantage? You need to go do something after you push, right? And if they're like wasting their time, you can push mid here too, right? I don't know what's going on, but we're like strong, but we're not utilizing our money, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Okay, let's back it up.
Yeah, we're super good with this team fight.
There are two things I want you to work on. Okay, so the first is what you said, right? Okay, you have an advantage. Don't worry about the lane stuff. I think that if you play laning phases out like that every game, you're gonna be a-okay in lane every time. After the lane stuff is make sure you push, right? Which is what you do. But then make sure that you know what you want to get after you push, right? It doesn't matter what it is. Tower damage, you want to rotate, you want to get vision, but make sure that all the things we were talking about, like in our session, that is something you do in game, right? Because you already know the answers, right? You think about it and you're like, oh shit, we could have done this. Make sure that you know that as you're pushing the wave, or when you're walking to a wave, you're like, oh, I'm gonna push this out and then go do this, for example. And then for the mechanics portion is don't use your abilities without specific purpose, right? So like when we throw a boomerang here, way back when we're engaging on Lulu or something, I think it was like way back here, right? These are like kind of random fights that are going on, right? Let's watch this real quick. Okay, so you're like, oh, we want to help, so we use our ulti to engage. I think that's fine, so we can gap close, right? And then when do you use your boomerang?
When should I?
Yeah, when should you use your boomerang?
When I'll hit multiple people.
Does it have to be multiple people? Right, priority target is the most common example. And then when can you hit a priority target?
When Ezreal's trying to hit someone else.
Right, when you cannot miss.
Killing someone else.
The common one is stun too, right? When they can't move. So if we ever use our boomerang, it cannot miss, right? Because even though you're 4-1, our contribution to this fight was like minimal, right? Yeah. Basically, don't use it unless it's impossible to miss. And I guarantee you there's a time when you can hit it. No problem, right? Like if you walked up on top of Lulu, you threw it on her, you can't miss, right? That's an example. Or Tarek stuns someone, you throw a boomerang, can't miss, right? Or you guys are having an auto attack fight, and then as your E's, you throw it to him, he can't miss, right? So basically, don't use your abilities unless you can't miss. I think is a big one we're seeing here, right? With the Xayah, the Xayah game, this game, I think it was another Xayah game, right?
Yeah, it was 2 Xayah games.
Right. But the end goal is we shouldn't use our abilities without a good reason, right? Because it's like we're like struggling with being able to make something happen with our huge lead, right? So yeah, that's the mechanics portion I want you to think about. So in lane, you think about the mechanics part, and in team fights, you think about the mechanics part, and then for everything else, think about what you want to be doing. So every time you get, this is perfect, right? I was like, if I were you, I'd be getting red every time too, right? Making good use of your time is what I would put. Okay, getting Scuttle Crab, good use of your time, because the waves are pushed, right? This guy comes out, you fight him, right? How does this is good, right? This is really good. And then stop chasing, sure. You can win this because Lee Sin has no HP, so if you take this a slow fight, you're gonna win. You wait for Tark to get here, you're gonna win. Oh, you gotta clear this shit. I don't know why the Teemo's laying plants for the harvest. You gotta get rid of that shit. Yeah, this is good. Making good use of our time. Okay, now what do we do?
Charge the Teemo.
Push out again. Yeah, charge your Teemo. That could be engage too. But if you can't engage, push out again, right? You just ult this guy. He's gonna die. He's gonna flash. Whatever. Push out again. You need to push here, right? This guy, holy shit. Right. So that'd be an example where you can boomerang, right? You can boomerang 2 people. Who is it?
The Vlad and the Teemo.
How do you know Vlad?
He's gonna run at us and try and drop all his abilities.
Exactly. Well, that's how you know for sure that when you can hit it is when you know what they're gonna do, right? Or when they can't move, like Teemo. So you can throw it at these guys because you know 100% they're walking at you, so can't miss. What's going on here? Okay, this guy is just hitting you. It's really awkward. You guys are okay. This is good. Throw a perfect boomerang. Perfect boomerang. Just press E here and you win, right? You just hit the closest target. You can't really lose. Flash over this wall. Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah, I should have flashed follow him.
I think it's fine though. Maybe it's fine. Let's watch. So how do we know you should flash over?
They're super low and on cooldown. They can't do anything to me.
But how do we know that you can kill them? That's the big one. How do you know you can kill them?
I don't
Like,
know.
what do you use to kill them?
Oh, autos.
Right. Auto attack reset. Or if you say they're such low HP, you can auto attack through a shield, go for it. But I would say auto attack reset into boomerang is guaranteed, right? You would say,
Yeah.
oh, they're like 1/3 HP. That's my plan. Auto flash over, auto attack boomerang, right?
Though,
For
if
example.
I flash over, the Ezreal's right there. Won't he just come over the blue wall and kill me?
Right. And then that's like, you know, we didn't notice that before. But is this trade good? I don't know. But it's like, my instincts say you kill these two people and then you can fight Ezreal, maybe. Right?
Okay.
But say, for example, you can't come up with that plan in time. I think it's fine for now that we can't make stuff.
Because Ezreal's not always going to be there, yeah.
No. I mean, it's good that you know that Ezreal's there. Like, say, for example, you can't flash over because Ezreal's there, right? I think that this stuff isn't a problem yet until this happens, right?
Yeah,
when we randomly die. The playmaking part is somewhat necessary, but less necessary than getting strong in the first place, right? So I would say, you know, every time you want to make a play. So when we say make a play, you're like finishing someone off, or you're getting a lot of damage on high priority target, you're flashing into something, whatever. You need to have your specific, like, what you're going to do specifically. Like I said, auto attack boomerang reset is what I would do, right? Auto attack W and then boomerang. What is, you need to have a plan for everything you do, right? So what's the plan here?
There really isn't one. Just auto him and then get flanked by the Ezreal.
Yeah, my first instinct is he's just gonna blind me, so we shouldn't fight this, right?
He can't.
Did he already blind someone?
Yeah, he blinded me.
Oh, it's already
right
gone.
there. Yeah, he can't blind me, but
Then the second part is how do we know we win this?
We don't.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. So when we say clean, it's like everything you do, there's no doubt of the outcome, right? So if you had flashed over this wall, I knew you're gonna kill the Lulu and then the Lee Sin, because there's literally nothing they can do. So when we say, you know, when you want to fight cleanly, there has to be no way for them to win. So you would fight with abilities up, for example.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Or you're playing Vayne and your auto attack tumble is like the same thing, right? That's technically your ability. So you would say, oh, that's going to be 1/3 of their health, or I'm going to condemn them to the wall. That's 100% win, right? Yeah. So if you ever fight, that's what I want you to think is clean, right? Don't use your abilities unless they're going to hit 100% and with purpose, right? What are you spell shielding, for example?
Blind.
So if we go back here,
I tried to spell shield the blind. I was just late on it.
Right. Okay, fine. Nice attempt, but make sure that everything is clean, right? I've already seen you land really good boomerangs, like on that Vlad, and the Lulu earlier. But make sure that all of them are like that, right? Because if we don't fight clean, this is gonna happen where you come out with an advantage, but then we can't really do anything with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Every time you miss is an opportunity missed, if that makes any sense. So make sure that you have the mechanics portion down, right? Is if you kill someone or if you make a play, know the exact abilities you need for it, right? Like when this guy's saying we have no damage, kind of makes sense in a way. How does Saber do damage?
Auto attacks and ricochets.
Ricochets, right? And the boomerangs. Auto attack, sure, but that's not gonna be the reason why you pick Saber, right? You use it to boomerang. So what do? You get close enough to boomerang off one dude, and then make sure you don't get caught, and you just do it again, over and over again, right? I think that like you're really good at getting to a point where you can carry, but then the actual carry part is like something you should work on, right? And the way you work on it is the mechanics part, like we talked about, and then make sure that you're using your time wisely. You know, you should push. It's very clear. The second part is, what do you do with the time when you push, right? What do you do at that time? Like, I don't know. This is not gonna work, but nice try, I guess.
Yeah, we were just trying to steal it.
Yeah, nice try, I guess. But our problem, I think your problem for the most part is the doing something with your lead, right? Is so make sure that after the lane phase, your lane phase is great. I think, in my opinion, is really good. Everything is really good except for the fighting aspect of it, which is make sure you don't use your abilities, right? Unless you have a very clear reason. Like you said, I'm gonna use shield for Teemo poison, Teemo dart, whatever. So the instant you see that come out, you press E, right? Or say I'm gonna use it for Vladimir's E, right? That's very specific. He's gonna go in his pool. He's gonna charge up his E. That's when you press E. Right? Yeah. So you say, oh, how do I stop Vladimir? That's what you do, right? And then when you fight people, make sure you know exactly how you want to fight, right? For killing them, for outplaying them, right? If you have more damage than them, say this is my reason, right? And if you don't have a reason, just play safe and hit the closest guy, right? Otherwise, you're kind of not playing. We're just gonna like bait ourselves, right? When we're hitting the Teemo, we had nothing left. Right, so when you hit this guy, you say, I'm gonna auto attack reset and then throw a Q. This is good, but then we shouldn't chase here, right? Because the whole team is coming. So this is really good. Just make sure we do that every time, right? And then for the macro aspect, make sure that when you push, you're doing something useful. And if your team is just like sitting in the river or something, and you can push, go push, right? Like earlier when I was like, oh, you should push top here, and then Teemo was like suiciding or whatever. If he hadn't done that crazy stuff, we could have pushed, right? Oh boy. Okay, this is really awkward. So at what point do you back off? At what point do you know you should back off?
As soon as Kennen gets kicked out.
No. You specifically.
Oh. As soon as Vladimir ults me?
Yes, because he wasted his ult. You back off now. You traded your ult for Vladimir's ult. Whose is more important?
His.
Exactly. I would agree 100% that his is more important. Because if he has no ultimate, he has no pressure on the backline, right? So that's kind of the I think the big issue with you is the fighting part, which is how do I know I'm gonna win, and how do I know they're gonna win, right? And the way you know that is who lands more stuff. That's like the basic answer is if they land their stuff, you should back off, and if you have nothing left, back off. I think that kind of mindset will help you the most. Is if you have your abilities up, your strongest point. You have flash, you have heal, you have all 4 abilities, and you're ahead in the game. That's when you're strongest, right? Think about it that way. Yeah. And then if you have nothing up and you get hit, you should not fight that, right? If you have nothing up, don't fight. And if you do have stuff up, you can look to fight. I think that kind of mindset will help you the most, because the only times you die is when you like try and fight an unwinnable fight, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and a lot of the times I'll do stupid shit where I'll get impatient. And I'll be like, I have RFC, I'm just gonna walk up and like auto 1 person, and then 8 people jump on me.
Right. So I guess in a nutshell, it's like I think your resource gathering, your ability to get an advantage is really good. You're always ahead of the other AD carry, like every game. The part where you need to make sure that you use it wisely is the part I think you should work on. Okay. So yeah, in a nutshell, first part is the mechanics portion. Do not use your abilities without specific reason. And it has to be a really good reason, right? Not average. You don't want average. You want like really good. Like that Lulu queuing you, why would she consider that good?
Because she hit me for free.
Right, and you have no sustain beyond Tarek heal. If you had a Soraka, probably wouldn't even bother, right? She would aim Soraka instead. So make sure that you hit with specific reason, right? Yeah. Like this. Okay, check this out. Is this a mistake or not? Lissandra using E on the wave.
On the wave?
Right here. She just used E. How do we know that's a major mistake?
Because now she has no escape, no engage. Like, that's her entire mobility spell.
Exactly. And what did she get out of it?
Nothing, because she had a Saber right next to her.
She just fucking 100 damage on the wave, right? Doesn't do anything. So we want to avoid stuff like that, right? That's a perfect example of like issues a lot of players in Diamond have, which is just randomly using their abilities for no reason. Every time you use an ability, you want to think that this is one of the best, most valuable things I can get out of it, like auto attack reset or using boomerang on a priority target, right? So maybe you say, I'm gonna not use boomerang on Braum because it's not gonna do anything. I'm gonna save it until Vayne comes into range, right? Vayne's over here, Braum's in front of you. You just wait until Vayne walks at you. Boom, get it with the boomerang, right? For example, a lot of players would just use it on Braum, right? So we need to make sure that for you specifically, make sure that every time you use an ability has to have a really good purpose for for champion fighting at least. That's the first thing I want you to work on. The second thing is after you push out, which I know you can do because we saw it like 3 games in a row, is do something with your time. And that doesn't involve sitting mid. You can like hide in a bush. You can hide next to your tower. You can do something as long as your team is alive. Assuming your team is alive, right? So I think in 9 times out of 10, your team has been alive. So push out and then do something. And pick one of the reasons we talked about today, right? Where you're like, oh, can you do anything here? And you're like, oh, I can go do this. You got to do that in game too. You already know how to do it. You just got to go do it. And then the third part, if you can do these 2 things and you're still losing, it's because when we do these things, you're not thinking about the response, right? So if we say, oh, push out and rotate top, Vlad sits in that bush. So then you're like, oh, how do we stop, how do we stop that, right? How do we stop their response? Well, one thing you can do is wear the bush, or you can push out and wait for someone to show up, and then you can go rotate, right? Anything like that. That's the third part, but I would not worry about that just yet, in my opinion. I would say focus on the first 2. The first being making sure that all your abilities are good value, right? Like here, what's the objective?
Pop the Banshee's Veil, I guess.
Right? Yeah, no. That's good. I would say that's good. How do you know you're gonna hit it?
I don't.
It's impossible, right?
Yeah.
It's impossible. You would have to be, my guess for if I were you would be close enough for him to click on you with his Q, and then you walk away and Q him. That would be the best bet, right? That's what I would do, right? Or maybe he's in the middle of the wave and he's trying to clear it. That's your best bet. But you can't use it randomly. Watch, in the next 5 seconds you'll have an opportunity to use it. Maybe.
There.
I guess not, right? Oh yeah, there too. But there's always, if you ever waste, it's like Dunzo, right? That's a waste. Lissandra ulted, Lee Sin, you guys lost. I already know, right?
Because she didn't ult Vlad.
Right, she didn't ult a priority target, like you said, right? What's the value of her ultimate? Was not high enough. It's very doubtful you guys win, right? It's very doubtful you guys win.
I probably could have won that if I had made, because they walked away and I did not step into the Terracult.
Oh,
so
that's awkward.
The invulnerability.
But honestly, even if you did, they could just walk away and then Teemo gets top tower, right? So
yeah, that's true.
We know that the Lissandra ult doesn't work because it's like a coin flip, right? It's a coin flip because she's like, the game is out of her hands at that point. She did not get high value out of her abilities, so now she can't do anything, right? So that's what we want to avoid, is doing stuff like that. And as the AD carry, it's not as obvious as like your ultis and stuff, because it's like, oh, it's a boomerang, has 5-second cooldown. Imagine if you hit a boomerang on Lulu every 5 seconds, right? Wouldn't that be insane? Just once. Honestly, just once is like really good. Or on the AD carry. That's like the difference between winning or losing a 1v1 or killing the carries, for example. Yeah, so you're like, Vlad is cancer. I agree, Vlad is cancer.
I hate Vlad so much.
Yeah, me too. So the counterplay to that is what? By the Hourglass. Sure, magic resist if you need it. You can stay away from his flash. He can only flash. He's gonna flash Proto Bow. We already know that. You can target with Saber. You can target his specific ability. So say you're gonna use your spell shield on his E. That's what my plan would be. Or use it on his Q, right? Either one and you're good to go. But I would say don't worry about that. That was like a one-off thing from what we saw. I would say worry about the mechanics portion, right? And the making use of your time after you push. Those are like in conjunction, those 2 things I think will make sure that you don't lose fights and don't waste your time. Because you already have the items you need to win, right? From what we see in these games, you're already like so far ahead of this. Oh my god, look at this. Look at the scoreboard. 2 items. You have 2 items and he has like 1.5. You can like roll these guys over, I think. If you can use your time wisely. If you, like, when in doubt, push out, okay? Which is what you do. And then the second thing is make sure that you go do something after you push out, right? And then on top of that, if you ever feel like you're getting countered by the whatever you're doing, like rotating or pushing towers down, the third part is make sure that you anticipate their reaction, because they're always going to do something. It doesn't matter what it is. They're always going to do something. They're going to go on your bot lane. If you're pushing top, they're going to go bot. If you push top, they're going to engage on you, right? If you push top, they're going to sit in a bush next to their tower in hopes that you push another one. They're always going to do something though, right? Unless they're inting and they're AFK and biz. They're always going to do something. So I don't think that we're at that point yet. I think we're at the step where you need to go do something first.
Okay.
After you push out. So yeah.
Yeah, that seems that makes sense. Like I'm on a super amateur team. We bounce between like D5, D3, and it's become a meme at this point because that's what happens every game. Like bottom lane, we crush, we take the tower, and then we run around and either we win just because we're so absurdly ahead that we win, or we fall behind because we're not able to press that lead from bottom hard enough.
Right. Like how do we make something happen, right, with our lead? So that's what I want you to work on for sure. Is don't waste your abilities. That's always something you can work on. Like I'm still working on that, right? Do not waste any ability. And the second part is do something after you push out, right? We're not doing anything here. You can say you're trying to get HP advantage, right? But we're too early in the game to consider that because the enemy is spawning as we speak, right?
Yeah.
The only time you can say this is good is what? 50 minutes in the game when you can take Baron in 3 seconds, right? You say 50 minutes in the game, Vladimir's half HP is worth like an objective. We're gonna go for that and then we're gonna go Baron, right? That would be an example. But in this case, in the mid game, that's like almost never a thing, right? You always want to go do something. Yeah. You always want to go do something useful because we're not at that point yet. So yeah. Like here's an example. What's the reason you can do Baron at 20 minutes? The enemy team dies.
Yeah.
Right. Or one person on the enemy team dies. How about 60 minutes in? You chunk the 80 carry to 10%. You can do Baron. Right. The big difference is because of the scaling of the game. But for you, just focus on the mid game part. I think we need to get through that first. Is do something after you push out. I think is the big one.
Okay.
And make sure you know what it is before you start pushing, because it's easy to get confused while you're pushing, or like they start fighting you or something. Make sure you know what you want before you do it, right?
Okay.
So the best time to do it is when walking from base or basing or something like that. That's the best time. So yeah, think about that. I would say all right. Focus on that for your like next 10, 20, 30, doesn't matter how long it takes until you can look at your replay and clearly say, I am doing this at this time, right?
Okay.
After I push out, I'm going to do this, right? So, yeah. Any questions, by the way?
No. That's right. Solid.
Cool. I hope that helped. I feel like I couldn't help for like the first like 45 minutes or something because I was like, I can't see what's wrong with your gameplay. But I think this is my best guess, I would say. All
right.
So
I mean, it makes sense based off of, like I said, it's a fairly common thing where we'll win bot lane by whatever margin, whether it's 20 CS or 4 kills, and then either I'll make it happen and we'll end up winning, or I guess you're right, I'll dick around and we'll slowly lose our lead.
Right. So, of course, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. I'm always on Discord. But other than that, let me know how it goes.
All right, thank you. Much appreciated.
No problem. And good luck in your games.
You too. Happy holidays.
Have a good one.